Okay, so my friend sent me this video of dog eating an egg, and I forgot. I forgot that my computer audio was playing. I'm so sorry. Hi, how's everyone doing? I was looking at the messages in the chat and I was like, what, can you like hear me breathing or something? Like, why are you commenting on weird noises? How you doing? How's life? How's everyone? So that's... Oh! Yeah! Hold on. Let me fix that. The dangers of outputting audio to the, to stream. Interesting, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm gonna turn off the Discord pings. Usually I have streamer mode on, but Discord recently did this thing where you can't search from certain users, like in the search bar, unless you have streamer mode off. I have no idea why it's like that, and it's incredibly annoying. But that's how it is, so hold on. Yeah, that's how it is, and so I needed to turn it off to actually search for a message from myself, and then, yeah, of course, the Discord pings get sent. My apologies. Stream starts, clicks link, here's raccoon eating grapes. It was dog eating egg. Fix that, Okay, yeah, okay. Just quickly figuring out what the hell I'm doing. Hey there, the world's longest username. How you doing? Hey there, Toffee. Hey there, Archie. Okay, so. Hey, deadline's closing in? Yeah, so, you might have noticed from the title that I'm maybe a little bit more stressed out than usual, maybe just a touch. Here, let me actually get my monitor up. Okay, cool. So, I am this semester doing a self-directed study in school, which basically means that I told my professor that I was going to do a thing. Show us dog? I already showed the dog. The dog's gone. It's never coming back. So my professor... I told my professor, hey, I have this thing I want to do. Will you give me credit to do it? And he said, sure. And now he's messaging me like, hey, have you done it yet? And I'm like, no. No, in all honesty, he's been very hands-off, but I set fairly intense deadlines for myself that I now have to follow because I gave him my itinerary, and I'm very behind. And yes, I had COVID for like 2 weeks, and he knows that, and that's good. But also, I've been a sort of terrible communicator the last little while. I haven't talked to him very much, because when I am stressed out about the fact that I'm not hitting a deadline, I tend to just, not communicate, which is not super healthy. So anyways, that's something I need to fix. I'm gonna contact him today. But I also need to get this fucking project working, so, today I really want to focus up. I know last stream we did a lot of useful things with world edit, and working on, like, interpreting block metadata, but I'm tempted to kind of just throw away code quality for a bit here, and just see if we can get something working, even if it's kind of really bad. So that's a thought that I'm having. I don't know if I'm gonna do it yet, but yeah, that's basically the state I'm in. That's why the stream title is as such. You like my in-dev house? Thank you. Oh, so I saw something interesting just like earlier. No, it does not have a TNT chest, because chests don't exist. If we do this, we can make chests exist, so that's actually a good thing. Yeah, what I'm working on right now is block metadata, which is the ability for blocks to store arbitrary information in them that would eventually get saved and loaded with the world, which is necessary for things like inventories. It's also necessary for what I'm working on for my study, which is basically dynamic structures. If you've ever used Minecraft's like technical structure composing things, like the jigsaw blocks and stuff, you'll know that the general formula for how structures work is if you have, like, I don't know, if you have, like, the letter H, that's an I can do letters. If you have the letter H, and then you want to make it spawn a letter I structure to the right of it. So this is one whole structure. So this is one structure, and you want to make it spawn this structure to the right. Then what you might do is, if this is like a structure block, you might put a structure block right here, and then have it resolve to the I structure, right? So when the H gets placed, it resolves the structure block, it loads this structure from the file, and populates this position with the I. And this can be used with probabilities and counters and stuff to create a more, coherent and, I guess, constrained structure generation. Minecraft doesn't do very much to allow this to be programmable, but the structure system I'm working on is going to use counters to allow you to sort of tune the results of the random generation and ensure that structures meet a series of constraints that actually makes them viable to explore. Because if you've ever been to Minecraft's end cities, you know that it's very easy for it to generate things that just have, like, one room in them. And then it's like, oh, that's great. There's nothing of value here. I just found this useless structure. I don't want to have that. I want all of my structures to match some certain constraints that mean that they are actually interesting. And, like, also the constraints allow me to do much more interesting things, like linear dungeons, that kind of go from, like, the end to the start, and maybe have locked doors and keys earlier in the dungeon to unlock the locked doors. Minecraft can't do that because it has no constraints on, like, if you place a locked door, it doesn't know it needs to put a key there, which is why most of the stuff that Minecraft does with, like, the trial chambers this update is just you get infinite keys from mobs, I'm pretty sure. And then there's chests which basically have infinite drops if you get the keys. But we can do more sophisticated things, which is interesting. At least we will be able to when I get metadata in and I can place down structure blocks and actually have them store information. Mike Caddy says, this is really cool. Is the source for your project available online? Unfortunately not. It is a closed source project. If there's any code that you want to see for, like, learning purposes, I'm happy to, like, show it on screen. But I do want to make this a commercial project eventually, and I don't really trust that it would, like, given it's sort of an engine, and I spent, like, 5 years of my life on it. Does someone just turn on... No, okay, I thought someone just turned on a, what's it called? Lawnmower, but no. Yeah, but given it's an engine, basically, and I've been working, like, 5 years on it, it would really suck if that work was just taken by someone else and then commercialized into a project faster than I could, because I'm a single dev, and I'm not working with a team. Like, I really like open source, and one day I would like to publish something of this to open source, maybe, but I am more concerned right now about actually being able to make a living off of this project maybe one day, because otherwise it's kind of horrifying that I've spent, like, 5 years on it. So one interesting thing that I noticed when I was preparing for the stream was I kind of stuck my head in this block, and I saw that this wall was rendering on all faces, which is weird because, like, usually faces that aren't visible aren't rendered, right? And I was kind of thinking maybe that was a bug at first, but then I realized it's not a bug at all. It's actually a product of the greedy meshing that we're doing. So if I go into, like, wireframe mode, you'll see that it's kind of hard to visualize, but this plane here is one big rectangle that spans the whole inner wall here, as if this beam wasn't here. And that's because my algorithm actually allows for overdraw if it's going to be obscured by another block. It's because it's actually more efficient. You know, having one quad that goes from here to here and represents all of this wood is a better deal than having 1 and 2 that are smaller in most cases, because the actual rendering of those faces is not very expensive, because most of my complex graphics that I'm going to do are post-processing in screen space. But yeah, that was just something interesting I saw. Greedy meshing is a cool technology. I did this thing, like, recently, where I compared an image of, like, the exact same location, greedy meshed versus non-greedy meshed, and, like, the amount of quads that it saves just, like, doing this kind of naive greedy meshing on flat planes is insane. Like, it's so good. But yeah, that's probably enough rambling. I should get into actually, making the game. One sec. I'm just quickly checking. Okay, yeah. Good, yeah, so we're gonna write a bit of code because I need to make this code work, right? So last time, we set up... What? Oh no, don't rerun. Ooh. Jank just happened. Okay, last time, if I go to the jigsaw block file, we set up this metadata type system with TypeScript. So you can create a schema for the type of metadata you're going to store on a block by creating a record in JavaScript and then assigning keys to like types that are in this meta file. So m.number is basically a value that has like a case that says it's a floating point 32, and then m.array is a function that creates an array type of whatever you put in it. Records are records. Options are like nullable values, etc. So this defines the types that can be stored in this block's meta, and then we pass it in to the meta field to actually allow the engine to access it. And then we also get access to the raw TypeScript type if I throw it into this infer function, because I know way too much TypeScript wizardry. I've done a lot of web dev in the past, but we can take this constant value here, infer its type through this little transformer type, and then we get the type that like metadata would actually need to be if we were going to match this schema. So like, for example, it says orientation's a number. If I change this to a string, it's gonna fail because it knows that it needs to match this schema, even though this is a value and not a type. TypeScript lets you do a lot of weird stuff where you can intuit the type of a constant value, which I think is really cool and also really cursed. But, you know, yeah, TypeScript wizardry is, yeah, I really like TypeScript and its type inference. I'm working a job, actually, right now, where I'm doing a lot of web dev with TypeScript, and one of my friends who I work with, she is kind of new to TypeScript, and she really likes, like, hard typing systems, like, proper typing systems that actually make sense, and really hates how much TypeScript just flies by the seat of its pants and does complete bullshit. And, like, you know what? I kind of agree now. Like, I've grown to also be frustrated with it in a lot of ways. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. But, however, I love that all of its stupid shit lets you do crazy things as well. I just think it's neat. Also, yeah, since I got COVID, I've been intermittently losing my voice, and it's really frustrating. Like, it's just until I cough, but it's like I run out of voice speaking, and then I'm like, no, this sucks. Who cares if it's complete bullshit as long as no one uses anything, everything is fine. Oh, hydrate right after I hydrated. You know, I could, if I was a meaner person, I could say that I already got that message and that I just hydrated, but no, because I won't waste your channel points. Okay, so, we have metadata. In the item atlas interface, oh my font's all fucked, hold on, fonted... There we go. Oh, okay, types, VS Code crashed. Interesting. There we go. I can read that font fine, but normal people can't, and I don't want to, infuriate everyone on stream by not being able to see most of the words on the screen. Programming streams are, I think, in general, less good when you can't read the words. Yeah, but... So, in the item atlas interface, which is the thing that converts item definitions, like the jigsaw block here, item.add, that goes to the item atlas interface and converts this information into a block in the game. And that reads the meta key and runs it through this meta spec create spec function. Question, why some custom meta module instead of some other TS and runtime library? So, the meta schema and, like, the interface here is built on, like, it's very similar to Zod, because Zod is the, like, TS and runtime library that I really like. And I did consider just using Zod, but I realized that it wouldn't work particularly well, because the main point of this metadata is to map JavaScript types to C++ types. And C++ has a lot of different typed integers, and various restrictions on the information that it can hold. Like, technically I could just JSONify everything and store it as a string, but I want to have a more efficient representation of it in the binary. Oh, my camera's autofocusing. Don't do that. So that kind of requires me to create a system where the C++ types are available to it, which is not a thing that you can do in Zod, because Zod just maps regular JavaScript types, right? TS and C++ is kind of cursed. Isn't it more C++ in TS? Because I'm just, like, I'm exposing all these type flags for, like, different floating point and integer values. They don't mean anything. Like, in TypeScript, when we infer the type of that, it just becomes a number, right? But in C++, when it reads that data, it's going to coerce it into the integer or floating point type that you specify. But yeah, so that's why I wrote my own system instead of using Zod. It's quite small. It's just like 150 lines of code here of type inference nonsense. But it's because I need to be able to map things to C++ types, not just into TypeScript types. But yeah, our item atlas interface calls createSpec, which is a recursive function which basically converts all of the JavaScript stuff into node meta entries, which basically just encode the type that they are, which is like one of these types, right? And if they're a container type, like an array, a typed array, a record, or a variant, they have subclasses that have some methods to actually pull what they're storing out into them. So what we need to do now is probably convert... So if we're going to save information from JavaScript to C++, then I think the most sane way to do it would be to handle any objects as, like, containers, because an object, if we're passing in an object, then it's always going to be a record, an array, a typed array, or a variant. Technically, it could just be an object type, which might confuse things. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to affect everything. But we're going to ignore the object type for now, because it's just meant to be stringified, and worst comes to worst, we can just remove it and tell people to just store their arbitrary objects in strings. Yeah, but, so, we're going to basically take any object type, and we're going to read all the keys in it, map the keys to the node meta record entry, which is our, like, schema, effectively, and then coerce those values into native types, and then store them. That's the plan. So, basically, now that I have the node meta schema in C++, we need to add methods to the dimension atlas, or the dimension atlas interface, which is how you interact with the world, to set and get the metadata. So, I'm going to create two. We're going to go static void instance get meta. What is considered an object here instead of a record? Like everything in JS is an object. Okay, so a record is a fixed key value array, or a key value map. So basically, I consider a record when you specify an object with all of the keys in it. So path, weight, and fill, those are the only valid things in this record type here. And an object is just, if you do like data and .object, then you can store any JavaScript object in here. It's kind of an escape patch, to allow you to store any JavaScript that can't be represented in the C++ types, and it will just get encoded as a JSON string. But then when you read from it, it will automatically hydrate it into a JavaScript object again. So an object is kind of just like, this is a thing that will get stringified and then unstringified. And then a record is an actual metadata type that holds other metadata types. They're just keyed, effectively. And the naming's a little bit funky, I know. It's kind of doing double duty, but... yeah, so in our dimension atlas, we're going to create an instance get meta. And also an instance set meta. And we're going to have implementations for these, so we'll go... first of all, we have to map these functions to JavaScript. So we do that by taking our instance template, which is basically a constructor in native code for an object in JavaScript. And we're going to give it these keys, get meta and set meta. And we're going to attach the native functions to them, which means that when we create an instance of this template, where this template's actually like the dimension, so when we create a dimension object in JavaScript, it gets all of these like dummy functions, which just call the C++ code. So now we will have get meta and set meta be available to it. And then we're going to need to actually implement them. So get data. I'm going to put it under get data because it's similar. Data allows you to store like arbitrary chars in the world array, whereas metadata is more sparse information. So I'm going to put these here. I'm just going to disable both of these implementations because they don't really matter. And we're going to call just like setting meta. Hey there, you boy hunter, how you doing? So, I know I should probably answer the question, shouldn't I? I'm doing good. Trying to hit a deadline here with a school project that I was supposed to be done quite a while ago. So, you know, maybe then something like JSON type is going to be better than object because it's kind of misleading. Any JavaScript object also includes functions, classes, etc., which obviously cannot be stringified. JSON is also telling you this shit's going to be auto-stringified. I could see that. My only concern is that people might think that they need to pre-stringify it. Like, so they might end up calling JSON that stringify. Although I guess, like, JSON is technically the populated type. Like, a JSON string is different than just a JSON object, right? Like, if you say a JSON object, then that means that it is actually a populated object in JavaScript. It's just only JSON types. So yeah, it would probably make sense to rename that, honestly. First, though, I'm going to quickly see, so we've created these functions. I'm going to need to add them to the dimension type. Get data, set data are here. I'm going to create new functions here. Meta, set meta, and they're going to take in... we're going to make them a t-extends record string any, or string unknown. And it's going to return t, because technically, because these are just functions on the dimension, we can't actually ensure that it's going to be any specific type on a TypeScript level, because we define our metadata on our node definitions, but then we're actually calling getMeta on the dimension. So we can't actually, like, guess the type that it's going to be. So we're just going to allow people to specify the type, which is why you're able to infer it. And we'll default to just a record of string to unknown, because, I don't know, that might be useful to some people. Hey there, Luma. How you doing? Okay, and then so for set meta, we're going to just take anything that extends record string unknown, which I think works just fine like that. It should automatically allow any subtype to be there. And it's not going to return anything because it's just setting the metadata. So those are our types. I should quickly run the tools. Assets, dev, build the type definitions, good. Oh, wait, no, not good. I was editing the build files. Hold on, one sec. Dimension.ts. I should really exclude those from my search, probably. But yeah, I'll stuff these in here, and then run the build files. Can you explain how your project is set up and what languages you're using? Yes. So the project is a voxel game engine. It's written in C++. So if I like run the game right now, hopefully it should work. I don't think I've done anything that's gonna make it crash. Building. Yeah. So the game is built in C++, and it integrates the V8 JavaScript engine, which is what Google Chrome uses to run JavaScript. And it's a voxel game engine where basically all of the content, including like player controls and blocks and biomes and entities, are defined using the JavaScript modding API. So, like, everything's currently rendering in C++ native code on my computer, but all of the content, like the grass and the player movement and everything, is written in script files that are executed at runtime in V8, which is sandboxed, meaning that, like, malicious code can't break out onto your system. And yeah, I guess that's basically it. We use a lot of registries, so, like, every block is added to a big registry where it's namespaced. So, like, this is, I think, Zeus default grass 5. And it does that to ensure, like, data consistency if mods are added or removed. Basically, this whole thing is meant to be hyper-moddable, and it's supposed to be able to support, like, hot-swapping mods really easily, and not imploding when you add a bunch of mods that do similar things, like what Minecraft used to do. Okay, so we didn't crash, which is good. So that means that if I go into the main file of Zeus default, main file of Zeus default, which is basically where I just shove any testing code that I write. Let's call console.log. Why is this red? Oh, I guess it's my closing paran? Yeah. Dim.get meta. And I don't know, let's just go like key string as the type. Yeah, which will return that value. And we're also going to console.log dim.set meta 000 key high. So this isn't going to do anything. These functions are effectively stubs. I expected 3 arguments. Oh, hold on. I fucked up the type def. Dimension does not need an index in here. Which means I need to quickly rerun this. Right, and then game Zeus, npm, run dev to get that building. Yeah, these aren't going to do anything yet because our definitions for the dimension atlas interface, dimension atlas interface. So these are the actual definitions of the functions that we're calling in JavaScript. We basically just mapped these names to call these functions, and all they do is just print out some debug code, or debug lines. But that's useful to us because I want to make sure they're mapped properly, and I'm not very secure about it actually working. Okay, setting meta, getting meta, setting meta. Okay, that looks like it's working. Your boy Hunter says, amazing, how did you learn about setting it all up and making C++ work with JavaScript? Are you using Electron at all? So I started this project and I was using Lua, and Lua has some very intuitive mappings. I think the one that I was using was called Sol3, S-O-L-3, and that was kind of my first introduction to using interpreted languages in C++. And it was a learning curve, but Sol3 had really good docs. But eventually I ditched Lua because I realized that it was kind of atrophying. Like, you could only get good performance if you used a LuaJIT, and LuaJIT is basically dead in the water. Like, they won't support new versions of the Lua language, and so Lua the language is progressing without it, but the Lua interpreter that isn't LuaJIT is just so slow. And I was like, okay, I want something that's actually performant and backed by a big enough company that it's not just going to stop working. And so JavaScript was my answer to that. And then I basically did some research. I'd seen before that you could embed V8, which is the JavaScript engine Chrome uses, and also what Electron uses, into projects before, but I'd never actually tried. And that was a whole can of worms, because, like, well, it's very, it's a really good library. It's very stable, it's very secure, and it's very feature complete because it's used by Chrome. The docs are not really meant for people outside of Google. Like, it's open source, you can use it. But yeah, it's not really built for anyone else to use very easily. So I had to do a lot of reading through the source code to figure out what the hell is even going on, and reading a bunch of old guides from like 10 years ago, and then realizing that a lot of what they were saying wasn't true anymore because Electron changed in like forever. But yeah, so getting V8 to work with this engine was an endeavor. I'm really glad I did it because I think it's a lot better than Lua was before. But it's definitely not easy. Like, integrating that JavaScript engine with this project was definitely an ordeal. So no, I don't use Electron, but I'm using the same technology that Electron is using. What the Sigma, it's like 12 there right now. It is 12:39 in the afternoon, yeah. Wait. Why? Luma says, we're surviving here, just trying to make it through the end of the term. Yeah, that's basically me too. Yeah. That's kind of why I'm doing this stream. I have this one self-directed study I'm trying to do this term, and you would think one class would be easy, but getting COVID and also working 30 hours a week makes it kind of hard to do anything. And so I'm quite behind on stuff. Oh, interesting, I didn't know that about LuaJIT. It came across my radar recently because of a friend trying to convert me to a NeoVim user, which uses it for plugins. Lua is fine for things that aren't performance critical. Like, it's still a very popular scripting language, but like, it's kind of gimped in the sense that, like, as it continues to develop, it's going to get even less use as, like, people that want good performance continue to use LuaJIT. It's kind of created this horrible branching path where people that care about performance are on, like, a 5-year-old version of the language, and that's just going to keep getting older. And then the devs of Lua keep trying to add new features that are genuinely useful, and probably part of that compulsion is to try and get people to actually use core Lua again, but no one wants to give up, like, the 5 times performance boost of LuaJIT to use them. So it's a whole thing. No, it's not midnight here. I'm in Victoria right now. British Columbia, Victoria. So it is the middle of the afternoon, the sun is shining, my room is uncomfortably hot. So, yeah. So, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we have the functions which can get and set each other, or we have the functions that exist that can be getters and setters. And we're gonna basically need to get the metadata type for whatever node we're trying to use. Doxed, oh no, no one knows I live in Victoria. Definitely not. I haven't talked about that way too often already. That information's already available. It's not worth trying to, Oh, what's going on here? It's not worth trying to hide that. Why is it saying that, like, I'm not getting enough video to maintain smooth streaming? Huh. I wonder what's going on there, because I'm sending out, like, a lot of data right now. YouTube is kind of weird. It gives me a lot of these phantom warnings that aren't actually accurate, and I just kind of ignore them. Like, it also wants me to max out at 2500 kilobits per second, whereas Twitch maxes out at 6000, so I just send 6000 and then it complains, but it still works. One of my roommates is downloading right now. No, I don't think so. I think I've caught plenty of internet still going. Let's find out. Although, I guess actually I can't really show you this without doxing my IP, and I know that's not like super duper important, but like I live in a pretty small city, and that would give you a pretty good geolocation of where I live. So here's like a, like, playing it dangerous here, wow. Yeah, we're getting good speeds down, and good speeds up, so I think YouTube's just complaining. So, yeah, okay. Understandable, my boss and his friend managed to combine C++ plus Node in many ways to create this company that I'm working at. It's amazing how it all works. Node is super cool. Hold on, I need to call. Node is super cool. I actually, a lot of the stuff that I learned about V8 from was native Node modules, because you can create C++ code that runs in Node, and because Node is based on V8, it's a very similar API. There are a few frustrating differences that I had to work through. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that helped me learn about how to do V8 stuff in my own project was through Node like documentation, which was very nice. I also just like Node in general. I do a lot of projects in Node.js because I really like JavaScript. Like the one friend that I talk about programming more than anyone else with just has no fucking idea why I like all these terrible languages like C++ and JavaScript, but I really just like languages that let you do really stupid shit. Like, I don't know, Rust is super cool and it's super secure, but I really like languages where I can just go off and be like, yeah, you know this integer? This is actually a pointer. Just trust me on this, bro. And then just have it access whatever memory I tell it to, and then maybe it crashes the entire program, maybe it doesn't. Like, I just, I don't know. I like languages that give me more control than they probably should. And that means C++ and TypeScript. So yeah. So the next thing we need to do is an item atlas interface. I realized that we're not actually sending the node meta into the block definition. So I'm gonna store an option. I'm gonna go const meta, or I guess it can't be const because I'm gonna assign it. It's going to be I guess opt meta node meta def. Meta, and we're gonna create it as a none option. That'll create a none option. And then we're gonna go meta equals this. Yep, okay, cool. So if the key exists, then we're gonna populate it with a sum type, basically. This will automatically fill it with option that is not empty. And then we're going to toss this into this horrible constructor that creates an item definition out of all the keys here, which is really bad. Do I have a GitHub? Yes, it is arrayless. So my username on YouTube, just on GitHub. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I need to go to the item definition. And I need to add in metadata property, which I think I'll stuff right here. This is kind of horrible. I would like to change this so that it doesn't, like, just take a giant-ass list of all the properties. But, like, if I want to actually do an efficient allocation where I, like, create the object with all the data inline, then it's kind of hard to actually do that without something like this. But yeah. Node meta def, const node meta def, and meta, or I guess it needs to be an option. And then I'm going to toss it into here, meta. I guess, hold on, if I don't make this const, then I can std move it in. And then I'm gonna just need to store it, node meta def, meta, cool. And this doesn't work because the copy constructor is deleted, but I can move it. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Did you try to make a strongly typed API or not? Because the longer I think about getMeta having a free-floating generic not tied to any runtime check is dangerous. My idea is why not make two overloads, getMeta pos unknown and getMeta pos definition, infer definition meta, where the second overload will also do a runtime check to verify that that's expected in actual... That's a really good idea. That's a really, really good idea. Why didn't I think about that? Okay, yeah, we'll do that. That's much better. So basically what Archie said was, instead of in our definition atlas, instead of in our dimension, having this just take a typed definition for what we're going to get out of it, and it just having to be like, trust me, you know, I'm sure it is that type, definitely. Instead of doing that, we should just pass in the metadata spec, which will be anything. I guess technically we should probably go like t extends record string unknown in here, and then we should go m.infer in here. to basically get the resultant type. However, I don't have the meta types in the library yet, so I'm actually just gonna make this an any. This will be fixed, but the point is that by passing in the meta object here, the engine can actually check that they're the same spec, which makes it a lot better, because then the engine can say, no, this meta spec isn't right, and then we're happy. We can't end up getting back some different amount of, like, some different format of information that we've told it is one type, and then it just ends up not working and causes weird TypeScript errors. Oh gee, my idea was considered good by a higher level TS wizard. I'm so flattered. Oh, I don't know if I'm a higher level TS wizard, but no, it is a really good idea. Thank you. Oh, Playcastio redeemed Hydrate. Thank you. My throat's been very dry recently. I went through COVID a couple weeks ago, and I've mostly recovered, but ever since then, I've just kept losing my voice, which is really annoying. Like, it's just like until I cough or drink water or something, but it's like, I just want to keep talking. Okay. So, yeah, I like this API a lot more, because even though the type is still here, it's not going to be specified. It'll be inferred from the meta object you put in. And then our results will eventually be the result of infer on that type, meaning that it will automatically tell us the actual native type we're getting back from it. Oh, damn! Wow, okay, Zith just gifted a sub. Thank you for the gift sub, Zith. I never know, like, how to phrase that. I'm not a good streamer, like, but, yeah, holy shit. I can finally use emotes, aw, man. Hell yeah, thank you. I gifted a total of 38 in this channel. You are unhinged, man. Oh my god. Oof. Okay, so... yeah, words are tough, coding is easy. I feel like it really is just like the heat is melting my brain. I did this all, like, winter as well, and I feel like I was a lot more articulate, but, like, I'm just feeling the sun beating onto my fucking head right now from my window, and it's like, I feel like I'm boiling. Like, my brain is becoming goop in my head as I'm trying to stream. Yeah, so we're gonna pass the metadata object in, which, where did I put it? I put it right after far visible, so it should be right here. And it's gonna need to be an std move, I think, to actually get it in there. Let's just confirm that that doesn't crash, because why not? We may as well. And then our dimension atlas interface, our get meta function, is going to... oh, you know, we should probably, okay, this is interesting. So, our nodes have a metadata specification, which says what they're going to store in them. And they have strict nullability. So, like, for example, if I go to the jigsaw block, I can't put null into wait, because it's not optional, right? But I can put it into path because it's an option type. However, the API is such that right now, any block that you create that should have metadata isn't going to have it on creation, right? It's just going to start as null. Which means that... it's kind of like the entire metadata structure implicitly can be null. Because, like, when we create a block, it's not going to default assign any of these, unless we make it default assign. Like, we could make it so that when you create a new node with a meta like that, then it kind of just gives you the default of each of these values. So, like, 0, empty string, 0, 0, etc. But I think that's probably going to cause more confusion than not. It's probably better to actually encode, like, a default metadata value, because, like, then it can still be sparse. If you create, like, 1,000 chests with world edit, we don't want to have to populate, like, 1,000 metadata values all at once into the world file, that's going to be kind of awful. So if we just give it a default meta value, like default meta, and then that's like orientation, 0, structures, I don't know, empty array, data, empty string, then we could basically just check if the individual block has a metadata value, and if it doesn't, just grab the default metadata value. Like, I think that would work. I think it would make sense. Or we just accept that all metadata can be nullable, and then just make this return, like, infer t or null. But I think that's a lot worse. I don't want to have all the metadata be implicitly nullable. I think if you want it to be nullable, you either make it a separate block, like you make 2 blocks where one has metadata and one doesn't, or you just make the metadata like a top-level record. So like you would just go like data is m.option, and then you'd put all of the data that you want to store right in here. But yeah, so I think we're going to assume that it's non-nullable right now, and eventually we're going to create a system for returning a default metadata specified in the object def if the individual object hasn't had metadata set yet. But for now I'm just going to throw an error because, again, my motivation is to get this to work. I just need something so that I can show to my prof and be like, hey, I'm not useless, I'm doing a thing. Hunter says, how did you get learning TypeScript? In high school, I started doing web dev because my journey for programming was kind of weird. I started with JavaScript, or Java, I mean, not JavaScript, when I was like 10, but then I wasn't able to understand it because I was like 10, and I kind of gave up. And then it wasn't until grade 9 in high school that I got into an infotech class, which was supposed to be about Microsoft Office, but the teacher was like a huge fan of game development, so we kind of rushed through the Microsoft Office stuff and then let loose like Game Maker Studio, and was just like, okay, final project is to make a video game, do whatever you want in Game Maker, and as long as it's cool you get credit. And I spent a lot of time on Game Maker, like learning its built-in scripting language because I thought it was super cool and it was the first code that I could actually understand. And then after I did a bunch of Game Maker stuff, I kind of wanted to move on to a real language, like one that's used outside of one engine. Like, not to discount GML, which is Game Maker's language, but like you can't use it anywhere but Game Maker, and I didn't want to be tethered to Game Maker my whole life. So I started learning web dev because I thought it would be really cool to have a website, and that meant learning JavaScript. And then eventually I got frustrated with how dumb JavaScript was and started learning TypeScript, and it all just kind of cascaded out from there. I did several years of freelance web development, and then currently I'm actually in a startup company doing a lot of TypeScript dev for this financial software. And yeah, I don't know, I've just done it a lot over my life because of various different reasons. Okay, so we need to get the actual block type. So when are you switching to C++? Hi, by the way. I'm in C++ right now. I know, it looks like JavaScript because I'm using let everywhere, but that's just because I'm a freak and I, like, type deft let to auto. Okay, we're gonna start by adding the set data or the set metadata function, because that's gonna actually be, I think, easier. Because there's 2 pieces we need to write. One that encodes JavaScript into C++ code, or C++ data, and then one that decodes C++ data into JavaScript. And I think it'll be a lot easier to write the decoder once we already know what the encoder is going to look like. So we're going to start with that. Rust will always be too slow for game dev. Rust is like C++ speed, what are you talking about? Like, sure, if you do a lot of, like, runtime checks, then it's going to be slower, but, like, most of Rust is zero-cost abstractions. You can do game dev just as fast as C++. That's not C++, it's a Rust C++ amalgamation with all those let and UAI8s. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not cursed, but I like it. I don't know. So we're gonna get the block at the position, if I can type. Where's get node? Being as fast as C++ isn't optimal, and C++ we aim for C speeds. Yeah, but very little can actually compete with C because C is so low level. I think that if you can meet C++ speeds, then you're basically as far as you need to go, because C++ trends towards C speeds over time. Also, I'm not willing to code in C. Like, I'm sorry. It's just too much. Like, it's so low level, it's very frustrating for me. I mean, you can just go to assembly. Yeah, you can. I would not want to make this game in assembly. That would hurt my soul. Nothing can compare with C. C is basically human-readable assembly. Yeah. So, if we get our node type here, I'm kind of struggling to figure out how to piece this together. So, we need to get the node definition, which is going to have the schema in it. So we need to go def is game dot... Is this partial? Why is this... Invalid use of game. Oh, of course, I need to go instance.game, because this is technically a static function. And then we're gonna go to items, and then index by node. Okay, so that's our def, and then we're gonna go meta. It's def.meta. I probably don't need to assign that to a local, but we're gonna go, if not def.meta, I guess, ensure def.meta, otherwise, try to set meta on a node without a metadata property. This has to be Boolean. Honestly, use the right tool for the job is a lacking statement. You should use the right tool for you to do that job. That's actually a really good, like, connection, yeah. Like, maybe C is technically the most optimal tool for almost every job, but, like, most people can't use it optimally, right? So, I like that a lot. Okay, so, we ensure that the metadata exists, and then we're gonna call node meta def interface, encode, and we're gonna pass in def.meta.value, and then args1. So this function doesn't exist yet, but it's gonna take the metadata spec, and it's gonna take the JavaScript object that we're passing in. And I need to go to this file, node meta def interface. Oh no, Zithia did a hydrate and I almost have no water left. If you do another hydrate, I'm gonna be forced to go get more water, so... You know. Just know the consequences of your actions. And that's why I'm trying to use Rust for everything. Is this a bad idea? Hell yeah, but I do love Rust, hell yeah. Rust is nice. I like Rust. Like, I've definitely done projects in Rust before, and I think it's really cool, and I kind of wish I was making this project in Rust. But it's too late now, there's like 70,000 lines of code, I'm not going back. I mean, it's better than my pre-uni phase, do everything in Java. Oh my god. So, I'm so glad I skipped the Java boat, because I really tried to learn Java, because when I was a stupid kid, I really idolized Notch, because I wanted to make a voxel game, and Notch made the big one. And, you know, I didn't realize that he was a huge asshole. That stuff wasn't really out at that time, so, you know, it's not that crazy. But I really idolized him, and because he used Java, I wanted to learn Java, and I wanted to do the same thing. And so that was like my first language that I tried to learn, and then I wasn't able to learn it, and then I kind of went a different path of learning JavaScript and then C++, and I'm so relieved that I did that, because when I got to university, all the courses are about learning Java. Like, Java's the language of choice for my entire university, and it's such a bad choice. Why would you start, like, university students off with Java? It's just so... It really annoys me. I don't know. It's like, there's such better languages to learn. But yeah. Posting a giant water emote should count as a hydrate. I guess that is just... I guess you're technically giving me more than if you use the hydrate button, because that's actually giving me like 30 cents, which is kind of weird that Twitch has forced these giant emotes to cost real money. Like, you know, for the regular channel rewards, I can change how much they cost, or I can disable them or whatever. But for, like, the giant emotes and the stuff that uses bits, I don't have any control over it at all, which is kind of weird. I would like to not charge people real money for it. But, you know what? I do see your point that it should probably count as a hydrate, but that means I have to go get more water. Why would you do this to me? Okay. Not to shit on Java, it's gotten pretty good speed-wise, and I've learned a lot from it, but C++ is the highest level I will ever go again. Yeah, I don't want to go higher level than C++. Like, Rust is cool, C++ is cool, I don't want to go higher than that. Unless I'm using a scripting language. Like, I like TypeScript for scripting, but I wouldn't make, like, a game in it. If you need to do something in Java, spare yourself and do it in Kotlin. The best part about graduating is going to be not touching Java again, yeah. It's a good tool to teach programming principles. I mean, sure. But like, oh my god, messages are coming in faster than I can respond to them. Why are you doing this? Good to teach programming principles. I think it's good if it's your first exposure to a language because it's just a C-like lang, but really simple. But they keep you in Java your entire degree. And then the fucking engineering students get to use C. It's like, why don't we get to use C? You know, Twitch also needs to make money, so here we go. They make shitloads of money. Man, it does suck when you want to do anything that isn't specifically supported or can be ported with a native library. Yep. You should... We are having a heat wave, you should keep on top of drinking water. Are the messages not coming through, or are they just delayed? Like, I don't see the messages on screen. Are they just not working? Oh, wait. Wait, that one went through. I guess it must have just been old. Never enough water. Our uni has another issue. They wanted us to do everything in C#. Ugh, gross. Okay, I will be right back. I have to get water, and this is your fault, because I have to hydrate, so... 1 second. I will be like 2 minutes. The text is a lie, I just need to go. 1 sec. No audio! Sorry. I just did a mega hydrate for the 2 big hydrates. I have water again. I don't think Java's good for teaching. It's very object-oriented programming oriented. Object-oriented programming oriented. Instead of teaching people programming, they teach them OOP, which is, in my honest opinion, not the best programming paradigm. Like, if you want to teach programming, use something like Go. It's simple as fuck and straight to the point. No audio. Yes, audio. Okay. So... I took a programming languages class last semester, and that was my first exposure to functional programming. And I do kind of agree that it is, like, insane that we don't talk about other paradigms ever. Like, that was an optional course. And it didn't even advertise functional programming. It was just called programming languages. And I was super impressed. I was like, this is so much better in so many ways than object-oriented. So I completely agree we should be exposing people to more stuff, but object-oriented is still a very useful skill to have. Like, you need to be able to know it to program. It's not the only thing you should know, but, like, I do think you need to know it. So, I don't know. I just think we should have more diverse programming education. I was never able to come up with use cases for full-blown object-oriented programming. I don't know, game dev is a pretty good use case. The next Windows version will be 100% built in JavaScript. Why is Rust too slow for game devs, says perhaps? I have no idea. They showed up, said that, and then did not come back. OOP is seen as default, but it's a skill issue if you can't change to a different paradigm. No, I agree. But like, there are certain things that are just objectively easier to do in object-oriented programming than anything else. And I don't think we should shun paradigms simply just because they're, like, potentially bad if overused. I don't know. Like, I think it's worth existing. It's just not the only thing. Wait, this already exists? Where? Oh, here. Wow. Okay, why is this function not namespaced? I don't know. Okay. So, I'm gonna go static, viewpointer, string, encode partial, and it's gonna take a const node metadef data, and a local value obj, and a string reference out. Because this is gonna be recursive. We love recursion, right? Okay. And then I'm kind of sad, so I'm using VS Code instead of C-Line now, because C-Line just really bothers me. I don't like it. And I'm slightly sad that I can't, like, push a button and have it generate the implementation in, like, the source file anymore. But then again, that only worked, like, 40% of the time in C-Line anyways. I would get used to it working, and then I'd go and try and do it, and it just wouldn't for some reason. And I was just like, ugh. Like, yeah. Only use case I can honestly think of is fast prototyping. Guys, you're breaking my heart here. I don't wanna believe that all the object-oriented stuff I've done is not as good as it could be if it was functional. Like, I know you're right. I know you're actually right, but let me sit in my comfortable belief system so I don't have to think about it. Okay, encode partial. Bring out. Can I just do void like that? I think so. It differs from the definition. Oh. Hold on, this should not return a string. Wait a sec, what does fun expand to? So this was a funny little thing that we were talking about last stream. I still don't know if I'm gonna keep it. But fun is also just an alias to auto. Because C++ has this postfix notation. If you go like, int whatever, that works. But you can also do auto whatever returns int. The syntax was added more recently, for you to be able to basically do like type inference on the parameters for the result type. But yeah, you can do that. And I don't know, I was kind of thinking of maybe doing this. I mean, the more that I can tort my C++ code into looking like a different language, I think the more it becomes weird and stupid, but also I prefer it. I don't know, it's like, it's nicer when it's not so C++-y. So, it doesn't matter what paradigm you use. I mean, I think it matters on like a certain level, but like also, I think if it works, you know? Like at a certain point, it's just like, well, it does everything I need it to, so we're fine. Okay, so I need to switch on the data. Oh, this should be node meta value? Node meta entry, not node meta def. Actually, hold on. I should probably make this one still be a def because it's like the non-recursive function. And at some point, the definition might need other stuff to it, like the default value. But we're going to have encode partial take the entry. Spec. Cool. Spec. And def. And we're just going to go viewpointer string out, initialize that. I guess actually I think I need to do make unit. I typed with a capital U. What's wrong with me? Okay, and then we're gonna go encode partial, and we're gonna give def.def. Oh my god, I named it def. Why am I dumb? Okay. Out. Dereference that. Why did I call it that? Oh my god. Whatever. Get the value. Cool. Okay. As long as you're... Oh, hold on. Oh my god, C++Y, but I kind of like this. It looks like Rust. I know, I like it too. It's horrible, but I like it. Maybe fun instead of... Okay, so I tried doing that, and I can't, because some of the libraries I build use the word fun, and then the define, like the macro overrides it and causes it not to compile. Yeah. So... return out. Cool. Right, okay, so... our encode partial needs to switch on the specs type. Spec.type. Oh, I can... Oh, that's nice. I couldn't do that in CLion. Okay, cool. So this is gonna tell us what the type is. So our spec defines the format of the data, right? And what we're gonna need to do... It's gonna be interesting. As long as we encode and decode in the same order, we're fine. I'm just trying to think... Yeah, I think we're gonna do this kind of simple. If the type is null, we're just not going to do anything, because it's a null type. If the type is a boolean, then we're going to go out... I think we should really actually use a string stream here. I think those are a lot faster. Yeah, that'll create a string, and then I can make unique it. I probably have to specify the type. Yeah. Okay, and then I'm gonna need to make encode partial, take an std string stream. Cool. This is probably quite slow, actually, but I can optimize later. So if we have out, then we're going to go out, and then, wait, hold on, what am I fucking talking about? I don't want this to be a string stream, because then I actually have to encode it as a string. When most of the thing that we're doing here is just binary data, we're just using string because it auto-sizes. Okay, so out is going to have a 1 if it's a truthy value or a 0. And we're gonna have to write some code for this, believe it or not, I have to write code. We're gonna go const bool val CNS, my const auto. Bool val is going to be obj dot, or I think convert works boolean on out, or on obj. Cool. So that's gonna give us a boolean value, and then we're gonna go val 1 or 0 as a U8, which just means we're encoding it as whatever char type, it doesn't matter. What optimizations have you implemented for rendering, by the way? I'm currently using greedy meshing. I have done a very basic form of vertex pulling where I've pulled material data out into a shared buffer instead of it being on the vertices themselves. I want to go a lot further with vertex pulling and do like a bunch of stuff to basically move most of the information out of the vertex buffer. I also saw in the same video that was talking about vertex pulling. Hey, wait, this is not the Cobalt Core OST anymore. There we go. Sorry, so in the same video where I learned about vertex pulling as like a proper technique, they also talked about the fact that you can just use one index buffer for everything if your indices are always wound the same way, which mine almost always are. And so I was thinking, like, maybe I should do that too. That's a pretty good deal. I split things that should be backface cloned and not backface cloned into 2 different meshes, and I render them in separate render passes, so that I don't have to duplicate geometry for like tall grass blades that should be rendered on both sides, which saved a ton of memory. It was like a lot. And then I also use indirect rendering to batch lots of chunk renders into one GPU call. I think that's just it. Okay, so this is gonna be interesting. I've got to dip and try to make some progress on my own project. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I think I'm gonna write... Oh, I also need to break. God. I think I'm gonna write out a function here that's just like append integer type, or append numeric type, and it's gonna take a template for the number, and it's gonna take the obj. Let's just go like read numeric type. I'm getting such decision paralysis with all this shit. Obj and out. And let's just go fun, read numeric type, template, type name, n. It's gonna take in a local value of obj and a string out. It's gonna go v8 local, v8 value. And it's going to get our val, which is like that. It doesn't like that. Oh, because script convert. This isn't in the script namespace because it's not namespaced into, like, this class here, which it probably should. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get our val, and then we're gonna go out plus equals... So we want to convert it to bytes. Am I dumb in not knowing how I'm going to do this? So it depends on the length in bytes of n. Unless I just, like... I guess I can just, like... Oh, this is kind of horrible. But I can go string pointer, or const char pointer, val stir equals as void pointer val, the pointer to val, as string char pointer, which will give me a pointer to the memory at val, and then I can create a string out of it, which can take in, I think, a start and an end pointer. But there's 17 constructors. Jesus. NC... It's not really telling me anything. Hold on. String constructors, ++. If you know you're only going to deal with NVIDIA GPUs, you could use Turing mesh shaders. That's interesting, but I do want to support AMD as well, unfortunately. Okay, there is a string constructor that allows for a char and then a length. So we're going to go, so valster, size of n. I think this works. This is kind of disgusting, but we're converting the object into an integer type using script convert. And then we're getting the pointer to the first value of it, which I guess I can probably actually just do it like this, but then as char pointer. Yeah. And then we're just reading the size of the integer type. I kind of lost here. Why can't we take a number value from v8 value? Oh, we can. So this val here is whatever number type we put in. So like U8 here, this n is a U8. But then we need to add it to the string, which means we need to get the byte representation of it. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just casting the like pointer to the beginning of this value to a string, like a char, and then I'm saying create a string starting here that is the length of this number type in bytes. So we're basically just getting the bytes of this number and then adding it to the output string. RSCN has mesh shaders too. I assume you're talking about NVIDIA. It would be interesting to look into mesh shaders. I've never really looked at them because I've heard performance on them isn't very good. You cannot simply convert a number to a string in C++. So you can convert a number into like a decimal string. But I don't know if you can actually convert it into just like a binary representation super easily. I don't think you can. Maybe I just don't know. I could check for the macro code arch for NVIDIA. I don't really want to write code that is like system specific right now, or GPU specific, if I can help it, because that really increases the overhead and the amount of code that I'm going to need to maintain. If it really is like a big benefit, then I might do it. But ideally I'd like to write code that works on both architectures. I remember back in the day when I used Copilot for this stuff, and it was faster. But I don't use Copilot anymore, because I felt like it was making me lazy. And it was! I don't like writing these, like, stupid pattern things over and over again, but I don't know. I also don't want to be slave to the machine. In C++, there is a std s2i for numerical conversions, but that converts from decimal representation of a string, or yeah, into an integer. You can use sprintf for that number to string conversion as well. Can you? Hold on. Number to binary string plus to or sprintf. Convert it into a binary string representation. I don't see a lot here. No, okay, so std2 string 42 will make a string that says 42. If I do this, then it's going to return 42 as a string. I don't want to return the string 42. What I'm trying to do is encode the binary in here. So I'm trying to say, like, okay, if I've got 42, then that's gonna be, what is it, like 00001, then plus, like, another 10, so that's gonna be 1248, 12, oh wait, I think it's 11100, right? For 42? No, that's 28, damn it. Wait, how did I fuck that up? Oh, I think I'm 10 off, maybe? Oh, that's gonna fuck everything up here. Is it like that? I'm trying to get better at converting things to binary, just like in my head. It's 101010. It's 42. Okay. Yeah, so I'm trying to encode this as binary because we're not trying to stringify it like in JSON. We're trying to optimally store it and then read it back out. This is just for like encoding it in like the save file and in C++ memory. Hold on, wait, this is again not... I like this song, but I don't know if I can actually use it. I don't want it playing. YouTube Music is kind of bad. Okay, so those are all the numeric types. Then the Boolean type is self-evident. Unknown should not be here. Let's add a default real quick. Ensure false, unknown spec type. Plus spec.type. Here's where we'll use std2string. Because I just want to print out the number, right? That's not gonna work because this is a C string, isn't it? No, it's just... Oh wait, no, it's not gonna work because it's an enum class. As U8. There we go. As is just a alias for static cast. If I go in here. Yeah. How will you handle Indianness when during deserialization? To be honest, I haven't thought about it yet, and I know it's a real thing that I need to care about. I think I'm probably gonna take whatever like is the most common Indianness, and then I'm going to make that the default one, and then any machines that have a different Indianness, which I think I can detect at runtime, probably, I'm just going to flip the bytes at, like, load and serialize. Couldn't you use std bitset size decimal.toString? Maybe? Let's see. Bitset has a constructor. Let's see, the constructor constructs the bitset. And its constructor... Where is it? Bitset that takes a string? No. Bitset that takes a string? No. Oh, right. Yeah, no. Bitset that takes a... Oh, wait, hold on. Bitset that takes a long. There it is. I'm blind. Constructs a bitset initializing the first. M-bit positions the corresponding bit values of val. Okay, and then toString turns a string representation of the data. Oh, wait, no, but that's a binary string. Like, I want it to be, like, bytes. I want the characters to be bytes, right? Like, my goal is that if I put in a U8, any value from 0 to 255, it's just going to be one ASCII value in the string, right? If I put in a U32, I want 4 ASCII values that represent it. I'm just trying to pack it into the string as efficiently as I can. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Zith. Sorry, I did say binary. I'm not actually sure. I guess I should be saying... What, like hexadecimal? No, not hex... I don't know. What is, like, the proper way to say that? Flat buffs / proto buffs can be a nice way for having a platform-independent way of storing binary data. Huh. I don't think I've ever heard about that. I might look that up. Oh, another hydrate. Oh my god. I've realized I've made a terrible mistake. Which is that previously, you were constrained by how the channel points work, and I can add delays and stuff to the hydrate. But now the only limit is your wallet, which means that depending on how much money you want to burn here, you can just make me drink way too much water. Stop doing that! Stop doing that again! I am very hydrated, I don't need more water. Oh. Sith, I'm gonna ban you. I will banish you. AMD has mesh shaders too since recently. I thought mesh shaders existed for a long time. Okay, hold on. You can't just bribe me by gifting a sub. I mean, maybe you can, but like, thank you for the gift sub. AMD AMD has mesh shaders too since recently. Is it? I'm gonna go crazy. I thought that mesh shaders existed for a long time, but just didn't, like, they were really unperformant. I was legit typing one more for good measure. Okay, that's enough now, please. Why are you trying to encode data in a string? Why not a U8 buffer? Because, like, are you just talking like a vector of U8s? Like, I could, I could. I don't know, my default's just to use strings. Is there an actual U8 buffer type? Or are you just talking like an array of U8s, or a C array or something? Okay, std vector U8, yeah. It should remove some hassle with converting everything to string. So... I can use a vector of U8s. I don't know. I don't know why I'm not doing that. I'm just not. Maybe I could, but I don't think it would be better or worse. Like, converting to string isn't really the hassle. I guess it kind of is. If this was a U8, I could memcopy. Ugh, damn it. Yeah. I'm trying to get a byte array, static cast char, static cast void. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You guys keep hitting me with the I'm actually kind of dumb here. I'm gonna keep blaming the heat. I don't know if it's actually true. I think I'm just not thinking good because, wait. What? What is this fix? Give me a name. Wow. No, I mean... Yeah. It's been a weirdly long time since I've done much C++. So I think I'm a little bit dumb. Why does the C++ code look like Rust? I have a lot of macros. This should return... thing. If you're all in on using strings to represent binary data, you could use base64 encoding to make it more compact than decimal or hex if you're serializing a bunch of it. Base64 wouldn't make it more efficient. Like, than just binary integers? I don't think base64 can encode better than that. You should make a macro int to U8 array. I don't like using macros. I just use macros when I can't use other things. Like, all of these types here are type defs, they're not macros. I'm just utterly unwilling to compromise in my weird desire for things to look like Rust. So reserve takes a total amount of space, yeah. So I need to go out.size. I guess I need to do resize, otherwise it's gonna fuck up the internal pointer. So I'm gonna go out.size plus size of n. And then I'm gonna go... Right, let's go const start is out.size. Then we're gonna go out memcopy. Yeah, we're doing a memcopy here. Out start. That's our destination, and our source is going to be this, and then the length is going to be this. Is that the syntax? I don't remember. Destination, source, and length. Yeah. But it doesn't like it because... Oh, because I need to reference it. Yeah. Yep, okay. She's not using string, she uses super plus string data type as a vecuate and writes raw binary. Yeah, that is what I'm doing. And you're right that it's kind of dumb. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for the sanity check. Like, I shouldn't do it. I should not do that. But I don't know. It's fun to write terrible things. And honestly, I just didn't think of it. It's the real reason. Because I can just cast this to a U8. Then I can just go, like, out dot push back, or place back even. And then will it cast automatically? It will. Nice. And that makes our code a little bit easier to read, which is nice. Thank you. Okay. So now we need to worry about the container types. So the main issue is that, sorry if I'm spewing irrelevant junk, I just started watching only a bit ago and didn't know what you were trying to accomplish. No, that's totally fine. I've already said it a couple times, but I think that my brain is melting. It's very warm in my room right now, and I'm making a lot of stupid decisions, so I don't mind the, like, the opinions and stuff in the chat and, like, the suggestions, because, honestly, it's helping me focus a little bit. Okay, so I have a decision to make, which is that array types can hold compound data, so they can hold, like, records and stuff. They could hold strings, which would be, like, arbitrary length, right? So I could either basically make arrays sort of pointers to arbitrary length data at the end of the binary buffer, or I could, like, put it in sequence, but then that means I also have to decode it in sequence. And I think I'm gonna do that, so I'm just gonna, like, encode each thing as a string one by one. And then I'll just also decode it in sequence, because I don't think there's much of a case right now where I want to be able to partially decode. Yeah, I will be using recursion. The only reason is that, like, if I was able to make it so that, like, if I read the spec, I could get the exact offset into the buffer that any value is at, then you could partially read the metadata without having to decode the whole thing. But I don't know if that's actually ever useful. Like, I don't know if I would even be able to surface an API to just read one value from the binary. So I think we're just gonna encode it linearly, and that's fine. So that means that I'll have to place back the length of the array. So the array could be quite long, actually. So we're gonna do I'm gonna do a weird thing here, which is template tnn find right number, and that's going to take a n val and evacuate out, and I'm going to move this logic into here, and then I'm going to put this into here. And I'm also going to rename this to just read number, and I'm going to make this inline. It'll probably inline on its own, but no reason to not suggest to make it inline. And then when I'm here, I can just go right number, and then we're going to take in, I guess I need to get the object as an array, so let's go, that's r equals obj.as array, and then convert r dot length. That'll get the length of it as an integer type. I'm actually going to explicitly make it a u32. That doesn't work. Because, oh! Okay, wait, hold on. Length already returns a u32. That's weird. Usually the v8 functions return v8 types, but I guess length returns like a regular C++ u32. Cool. And then we're going to put out in there. And that means that we're going to encode the array length, and then we're going to go for let val, or I guess I'm going to have to do a regular loop. u32 fi equals 0, I is less than r dot length, I plus plus, and we're going to go encode partial spec dot as node meta array entry. And then we're gonna take the... Hold on. Out.resize and read number is probably a bad idea. It's going to shrink your buffer if it's greater than what you specified. As a result, it's going to be a worse allocation pattern. It will never shrink the buffer, though, because it's only ever setting it to the current size plus the size of the integer. Like, from what I understand, I need to resize it, otherwise the memcopy can read into invalid memory. If you have a better pattern for doing that, then that's valid. And that would be cool to hear about. Why is there let? It's an alias to auto. Because I am a freak. So, our spec here... const node meta entry... I think I need to do a const in here. Yeah. Okay, and then we're gonna get the value entry. So that's the type that the values are. And then we're going to pass an out. Does this have a runtime cost? Like, this is a static cast. And then this is just a read. It might actually have a runtime cost. I'm just gonna go let value type equals this. Or I guess value spec. And value spec in here. Cool. And that should just basically run through each of the, Oh, but then I also need to go obj.get, or r.get, I guess context i.toLocalChecked. And I need to go, context equals this dot, or get context. Basically, so V8 functions need this context type, which basically just defines a, I don't exactly know, it's like a scope for the objects to be created in. This shouldn't be... toLocalCheck, oh, it's capital T, okay. So r.get requires the context to allocate the memory, and then I is just the index that we're getting from the array. toLocalChecked just unwraps the value, because it basically returns like a maybe error type. And my one-line for loop is looking a bit too long, so I'm actually going to give it some curlies. So then that means that for every value in the array, we're going to encode it, after basically writing the length of the array in the head there, so we actually know how many values to decode later. So that's good. Typed array is going to be almost identical, but I don't know if we're going to implement it right now, because right now we're not using them, and they're kind of complicated to like read the memory from and write them. So I'm just gonna go, not implemented yet. Please don't. And I will fix that later. Okay, now for the records. So the record types, they need to go in order of the definition, basically. So I need to read through the specs keys. So let's go let or for let and key spec is equal, I think it's colon spec dot as const node meta record entry dot values. And I think that works. Yeah, that allows me to get the key of the thing that we're gonna encode and the spec for it. I wonder, can I do like weird shit here where no, I can't like mutate that value in the thing here. I don't remember what this is called. This is like a destructure assignment or something. Anyway, so now what we need to do is go let rec value, or I guess like just obj_val is going to be rec.get. This is also going to take the context. Wait, why is it taking an index? This is a record. Like, can I pass in a key? Or wait, what if I do just get rec key? I have this get function. But it doesn't like it because I don't really know. Why doesn't it like it? It requires 3 arguments. Object key default. Ah, you were wrong about resize, confuse size, capacity. No worries. Yeah, no, I do need to allocate the space for the value to go in, otherwise memcopy will get sad. Why am I not able to read from rec here? Rec is an object. Get should be able to read from it. Oh, it does have a key val. And I just want to get a value from it. Oh my god, it's so hot in this room. Holy shit. Oh, I wonder if it's because key is const for some reason. I had some weirdness with my function here. Where it wasn't accepting... Yeah, that's weird and annoying. That it's not accepting const strings. Hold on, I can fix this for sure. I don't want to manipulate this code because it's, like, really bad. But yeah, convert takes... So... detail get value is what takes the key type. And... for some reason it's not const. In before doing this creates a million different errors in my code base. But we're gonna find out. Maybe it'll work. Oh, yeah, this code that we're in here is pretty bad. Basically, this is all of the code that I use to actually interface with the V8 types. Because V8 is quite awful to work with raw, which is why I have these helper functions that I've written that are type safe. But I seem to have done some just weird shit that I shouldn't here, and I made these, like, double ampersand forwards. Which I don't think I should have done. Because it's fucking with all of the... It's fucking with all of the constness. Oh boy. Why did I do this? How many more K double ampersands are there? Const K, okay, const K and const K. Okay, how are we feeling now? What is this? Oh, that's just because, yeah, okay, so it's not erroring on the type here. I have no idea if it'll build, though, is what I'm worried about. I guess I can try building it now. Like, it shouldn't crash, because I haven't added any code that's, like, strange. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's not good. Why are you bad? Wait, is it still building? Why is it still building? Is it just because it's multi-thread building? What is the actual error? Convert to value key. Why does convert not accept... Oh, because convert does perfect forwarding too. Why did I do this? Ah! I am a fool. Oh boy. We got a spammer in chat. Let's ban them. No, wait, no, don't unban them. Ban them again. What? Twitch? Let me ban this person. Ban. There we go. I made a terrible mistake here. This is... my only justification is, okay, I did write this 2 years ago. But for some reason, the perfect forwards everywhere. I don't know why I did this. They're not useful, and they're not good. Oh, thank you for the stretch. I'm kinda... It's real hot in this room, Jesus fucking Christ. I don't... It's one of those, probably a heat wave again days. Thank you for the water. This is probably a terrible idea to try and fix right now. Like, I think this is going to be more of an issue than I am, like, able to fix at this point, because there's a lot of code that depends on these types. I feel like a lot of it's gonna suddenly break when I do this. I double ampersand, change that to const I. Okay, can I just, like, do this? Like, realistically, is that gonna break anything? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool. And then, where's std forward? Giving these hydrate emotes probably pays for the water I drink. I don't think I actually pay for water. Like, I don't think that, like, my municipality charges for cold water. I might be wrong. Okay, why is this one not happy? Because... Can convert safe. Hold on, where's string in here? Is same string on the output. Is same local string input. Huh. I'm confused and scared that this code isn't working because I don't know what it's doing. So I'm converting the key. Types. Too many types. You know what? I'm going to leave myself a to-do to fix this. And I'm gonna stash these changes. And, fix type gaps. And I'm gonna go back to what we're actually working on, because I want to actually do something today. So we're gonna go back to the implementation here. And this is no longer gonna work, because this key is not const, and we're literally gonna do string key2 equals key to do. This is horrible. Horrible, horrible. There we go. We'll fix that later. I'll fix that later off stream, because that's not gonna be a fun fix. Please build. I would like you to build. Why aren't you building? Static cast from unsigned char to char is not allowed. Okay, fair. Can I do that now? I think the actual thing is that it's not gonna let the static cast happen. Yeah. Let's go as void pointer in here. Safety. Type safety. This is the reason I love C++. It's all the horrible, horrible things it'll let you do. And we failed the build, but it didn't give me a build warning. What? Oh no, what is wrong with you? Wait, did I change this file? No. So what's wrong with you? Oh, really? The string getter? What is wrong with this? I swear I do getters like this everywhere. I feel like, for some reason, like, it still works for my old code, but then I can't use it anywhere new, and it's just incomprehensible why it doesn't work. What's wrong here? Expects an L value. Oh, does it expect a const? Is that why? Did I make it require a const? No. Copy constructor, move constructor. Oh no, weird TypeScript, or I mean weird C++ bullshit. Is this where I use the fancy double ampersand? Any thoughts on the Zig programming language? I've never used it, unfortunately. I tend... So this is like a weird thing, but I tend to kind of avoid languages that are, like, too new or too trendy. And I don't think that's actually good. I think that's kind of just like a weird bias I have. Because, like, I tried Rust eventually, and I really liked Rust, but I feel like there's just so many possibilities, and I don't know, I don't have time to look at them all. And I'm worried that I'll go down, like, an infinite rabbit hole of trying to figure out what the hell Zig is, or what the hell Go is, or... I guess Go's not new, Go's old, and also not liked. Or what the hell Rock is. Someone at my work who's really into functional programming was talking to me about Rock, and I was like, what the hell is Rock? Oh my god, it actually built with the perfect forward. And segfaulted. Instantly. Oh, you know what, though? To be fair, I imagine the segfault is because I passed in... Yeah, I tried to set the metadata. That wasn't even a segfault, that was just a regular error. Okay, how can we test this? I know how to test this. We're going to, go into Zeus main. And I'm gonna get rid of this temporary code. And we're going to go into the jigsaw block. And we're going to go, jigsaw.bind place. This callback event is going to have, it's going to contain a dimension and a position. And I'm going to go dim.setMeta position, and I'm going to give it a perfectly valid meta value. Which is this meta value up here. It matches the spec, right? So hypothetically, it should only run our code when we place a jigsaw block. Or it won't, probably because I didn't build the JavaScript, maybe? Let's see. Yeah, okay. It's kind of reasonable. Rust and Go are quite old already, but anything new is definitely reasonable to avoid until it matures a bit. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with trying out new languages. I'm just very busy, and I don't want to get, like, really hooked on a new language and then find out the language support isn't there. Give jigsaw. Okay, I have the block. I place it. Setting meta. Zig is 8 years old? Why have people only started talking about it, like a year or two ago? Is this thing running on the browser? No. It is running in, it is native code, but it's using JavaScript as scripting. Yeah, hold on. I can't believe that Zig is 8 years old. Like, people literally only started talking about it like a year or two ago. Is it just that it was super, like, underground? Like... Yep, it is, it's JavaScript for scripting in an actual native project. I'm using the same JavaScript engine that Chrome uses, but it's baked into my own, like, project. It's not in Chrome. Okay. Let's see. Give Jigsaw. Oh, hey! Hey, Laughlin-Sart, how you doing? Thanks for the raid. Oh! Oh, I know what's happening! Pirate raid, it's because Pirate Jam. Okay. I see, I see. I think someone did that last week, and I was like, what the hell's happening here? But yeah, how's Pirate Jam going? I think it's... Is it not Pirate Jam? Are you just raiding with pirates because you like pirates? There's like the pirate software game jam happening right now. Is that not... Am I just like... What? Pirates are like my whole aesthetic. Oh, okay. Okay, so it was you last week too. Okay. I was like, hold on a minute. Like, where's the pirates thing coming from? But that's cool, that's cool. Yeah, there's currently a jam happening right now, game jam. The pirate software game jam. How are you doing? Pirate raid. Woo. Okay, so this is weird. Placing the block does call setting meta, but it says that the length is 0. Oh, it's probably because we don't actually do anything with our records yet, and the top level is a record. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, the theme of my stream is pirates, and I sing sea shanties on stream. My avatar's a merfolk pirate. Oh, that's really cool. Hold on. I need to check out your stream at some point. That is super cool, though. Did you just finish a stream? I guess you probably did. That's what raids are. I know how Twitch works, I swear. We're gonna encode partial. We're gonna take, the spec, and then obj_val, and then out. Okay, this should actually properly read things. This should actually be able to decode the object, and we should see a non-zero length. Okay, so I see people are kind of talking about version numbers, and like, I would agree that most of the time the version number doesn't matter, but Semver does define 0x versions as unstable versions. Like, if you have a 0x version, that is a specific thing. That means it's not ready for prime time. So, like, I do agree that if I see something at 0.x, I don't exactly trust it. And yeah, maybe Zig just isn't using Semver, but almost everyone does use Semver. Doing well, I finally managed to get my enemy's charge attack with the help of one of my amazing viewers. Ooh, nice. What sort of project are you working on? Well, let's see if I can do this. Whenever I open my game, I just start bouncing around and forgetting that I'm actually supposed to be doing something. Oh my god, okay. We have 20 bytes set. Is that actually right? Hold on, I'm gonna quickly run through this. So the orientation is going to be 4 bytes. Then this array is going to have a 4-byte integer for the length, so that's 8. And then strings are not encoded yet, I think? Wait, actually, why aren't they encoded yet? Where is the string type in here? There is a string type. Where did it go? It's just not... It's not in here, I guess? It should be in here. And if it isn't, then it should throw an error. I'm confused. What's happening? Yeah, why? Ooh, something's wrong. Redstone 4D says, I know I'm pretty amazing. I'm the one who's working on a puzzle platform Metroidvania game where you help... Oh yeah, you talked to me about it last time! Yeah, I definitely still need to look at that. That's super cool. What do I like? What I do like about Zig is that it works with C libraries really well, no Zig bindings required. SDL, Raylib, etc. are supported out of the box. That is really cool. How are you managing all those blocks? Are you that fancy algorithm that finds the best quad and does that over each block having a quad? Yeah. So this is greedy meshed, if I turn on the wireframe view. It's not like perfect greedy meshing, because that requires box packing, and box packing is like not polynomial time. I basically do it in runs, so like it starts out here and then it runs as far as it can on the same block, then once it hits an edge it has to go the other direction, and it creates as big of a region as it possibly can for every block. And it saves a lot of space. The big lines you see here are chunk boundaries. It can't greedy mesh over like a full chunk. But like I've compared it to... I wonder if I can recover this actually. I had some like images on GIMP comparing the two, but then I deleted them. Let's see, can I recover them? No. Okay. Here, I'll show you really quick because I think it's cool and I want to talk about it. So I'll save my position here. And then I'm gonna take a screenshot. I'm just gonna dump it in GIMP. And then in my mesh... Oh god, where is it? It's a node mesh part, and it is... Where is, like, spanning? Okay, where is the set? It's in... here, I think? I'm just trying to find... So there's a part where I actually compute the spanning info. Compute spanning. I think I just wrote that somewhere. Yeah, compute spanning for each of the directions. I'm just gonna comment out this function's use, which CLine will not show me. Oh, sorry, not CLine. VS Code will not show me. So if I comment this out, then when the game launches, not this launch, because that was one I accidentally queued up. When the game launches, it's not going to have any greedy meshing support, because I just disabled the function that actually finds what things can be greedy meshed. I'm gonna load up the exact same position, go into wireframe mode, and take another screenshot, and you can see, like, there's a lot more quads, right? But I think the comparison's where it gets really interesting. So here is like an actual screenshot. I guess I should keep it at the base zoom level, otherwise flipping between them is gonna suck. Yeah, like look at how many less quads are in the greedy mesh version. Like it is insane. Like it's like a 4 times reduction. I just think it's so cool. And it's a fairly minimal performance impact too. You can break block? Yes, you can break blocks. Man, let me just prove that. Breaking blocks. Thank you. Yeah, there's some issues that I still need to sort out. Like, there's this thing that I recently found out was, like, a common issue with greedy meshing, where, like, sometimes you'll see, like, lines. Like, there's, like, some white pixels that are, like, bleeding through there. And that's because the runs don't actually match up in, like, exact floating point coordinates because of how floats work. And I don't really know how to fix that yet. So, yeah, I'm hoping that I can figure that out at some point, because it's kind of really distracting when it does happen. But I think if I tweak the algorithm, it should make that a lot less common, at least. Scorpy says, maybe in the future you'll add levels of detail for Farlands. I actually already have that planned. It's partially implemented. So, currently there is like a model level of detail system where, yeah, I know, floats are awful. I hate floats. So right now there's like a level of detail thing where if you look at the distance there, those meshes are more simplistic. I can fly over there because it doesn't yet update when I move. But basically, oh my god, what is... The, like, YouTube stream on my other monitor is, like, super delayed. That's weird. But yeah, if I fly over here, all of the meshes are, like, just plain cubes, and it also doesn't render like the tall grass, even though the data exists for them, which makes the greedy meshing a lot more effective in this region. But I do want to go further, and just, have it, like, create... At a certain distance, I want one block to be one cube to represent like a 2x2x2 of blocks, and then a 4x4x4, and further and further. Yes, I do need to recompute geometry each time a block is broken. And no, it does not matter if it's in the middle of a big plane, because I do recompute the entire chunk no matter what. I've considered doing partial recomputing, but that is quite complicated. But no, it doesn't matter how big the plane is that you break, because it basically just remeshes the chunk from scratch every time you break anything, which is pretty cool. You get to see how the algorithm kind of like responds to different configurations of things. Yeah. Zith, you did a hydrate, and I don't actually have any water left in my water glass. Bitrate doesn't like these textures? Oh no. Sorry. Okay. I guess I gotta go get water. One sec, I will be literally like 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. I have the water. Hydrated. For the record, I don't think I'm long for this world. I looked at my thermometer as I left my room, and it's 27 degrees in here. So I'm probably gonna stop streaming pretty soon, because it's only gonna get hotter until I can stop the stream and turn my AC back on, because it's too loud to keep on with the stream. But yeah, I'll see if I can get a little bit more done here before we end things off. The water will keep me cool. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna catch up, one sec. Gonna lurk for now, gonna do some post-stream stuff. Alright, see you around, thank you for the raid. Redstone 4D said, gonna go help my mother with stuff. Cool. Is it instance rendering, Clementone asks. So, no, it is meshed. So the meshes for the chunks themselves are, like, meshed on CPU side and then made into one big mesh object. I can show that in RenderDoc, actually, real quick. That would be kind of cool. But I do use indirect rendering for, the chunks themselves, which is basically where you can batch multiple chunks into one draw call. And RenderDoc will show that, too. Oh, you just... Whoa, hold on. I just realized you're the YouTuber that did the sparse spineless texture array video. I love that one. Oh my god, okay, thank you. I didn't realize that people were, like, remembering that video and then, like, seeing the stuff I'm doing independent of that. That's really cool, actually. Yeah, so... I don't know, I guess maybe I should quickly mention, I feel like I stipulate this every stream because I'm so afraid that people are gonna think that I've just disappeared. But I haven't abandoned YouTube. I know it's been like 7 months since I've uploaded. I had like a really rough school semester, And then the video that I was working on became way out of scope, and then I got COVID. And so life has just been kind of really a lot recently. I do really want to upload more regularly. I'm super close to being done the video that I'm working on. So I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I didn't just become a streamer. I do these weekly streams anyways because they help me focus on developing my game. But like I have a lot of stuff I really want to do on YouTube, and I'm hopefully gonna have something to show for that very soon. I hope. Hi there, Snow. Scorpy says, how many years have I been programming? Probably like 8. I actually started programming like fully probably around like 13, and I'm 22, so I guess 9. Wait, sorry, who was asking about... Oh yeah, Clementine was asking about, the rendering stuff. Right, so if I take a quick snapshot here with RenderDoc, and... Okay, so RenderDoc will show us the breakdown of, like, every single draw call for this one frame. And you'll see that there's, like, a bunch of these draw indexed indirect calls. And each of these renders a chunk. So, like, this is the wireframe view of the chunk. Some of them are smaller than others because that one's literally one block. Because, like, sometimes there's, like, a chunk that only has 1 or 2 blocks in it. And then if I go to the texture viewer, and I go to... Oh, why is it rendering so much off-screen? Uh-oh. My frustum culling clearly is not working properly. Well, that's an issue for another time. But you can see that if I go through here, like, every draw call draws, like, 1 chunk. So it's not instance in the sense that, like, I'm not rendering a block at a time. I bake the chunks into geometry, and then I render a chunk at a time. And I'm rendering a lot of extra chunks, so I need to go look at that later. There's, like, a lot of chunks that are not visible at all that are being rendered, which is not good. So this is a lot of draw calls, right? But all of this is actually just in, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 indirect draws, which isn't, like, as good as using instancing. But I can't use instancing for this because the meshes aren't the same. But basically, what it does is it allows you to batch, like, a bunch of draw calls into one command. Like, there's 77 commands in this one call, but it only got sent as one block to the GPU, which makes it a lot faster. It makes me a lot less draw call bound, which I think is quite cool. And that is a system that I have to make this more efficient. Yeah, so that's basically the rendering of the base terrain, and then everything else is post-processing. Like, if I go to the... let's see, where is it? It's always upside down, which is annoying. I think that's actually just a flip. Where is the part where I do the color pass? Here. Okay. So this is the output for this input. I basically do normal shading, and I used to do some fast approximate anti-aliasing, which does not work right now, but I'm going to bring back. But yeah, you see these are not normal shaded at all, and then after the normal shading, they actually have, like, depth to them. So yeah, most of the intense rendering work is post-processing. So it's faster than rendering block instances. Yeah, so a lot of the time with voxel games, they're going to be very, like, draw call bound. So instancing can allow you to render a lot of blocks at once, right? But it's still going to need data for the position of every single block that's passed to the GPU. Which I guess technically, like, the vertices have to do that anyways. But there's a lot less optimizations that you can do with instancing. Like, you can't do, like, the partial block faces. Like, for example, I'm only rendering the sides that are visible here. I'm not rendering any of, like, the back faces of any of these blocks. And you can't really do that with instancing. And you'll also need, at minimum, 1 instance draw call per type of block, which could scale up a lot. And probably more, because there's a realistic limit to how much you can instance before you need to just, like, do it in a different call, draw call. So, Yeah, it tends to be more efficient to do, like, meshing into chunks, and then indirectly render the chunks to reduce draw calls. Oh man, old message from Scorpy. Sorry, I missed that. How many years have I been... Oh wait, no, I did answer that. I did answer that. The 27-degree weather, it's melting my brain even more. What was I actually doing? I think I was working on figuring out why this wasn't crashing when it got a string type. I'm gonna print out every type that it gets real quick to debug. Zithia did another hydrate, how could you? Okay. This needs to actually be a number, because for some reason, C++ will not let you implicitly convert an enum class into an integer type, which is really annoying. I find that super frustrating. I don't know. Like, I'm fine with it not converting integers into the enum types, because I know that the enums are supposed to be type safe, but why can't I convert an enum class into an integer? It's so frustrating. Give jigsaw. Okay, fuck, that's gonna print as chars because I did a U8. That's my bad. Okay. Okay. I just need to, like, have my mind function for a little bit longer. Just, like, work a little bit. Give big saw. Okay, place down. Okay, cool. Now we have types. Let's take a look at what these are. If I go to the node mesh, or no, node metadef. Okay, so our first type is 129, which is a record. That makes sense. That's a top level thing. Then we get 10, which is a float 32, which is corresponding to... Here, I'm gonna pull this aside. So then the F32 is orientation. That makes sense. Then we should get an array. 127. That's an array. Good. Then the inner array type should be a record. 129. Good. And then we get 130, which is a variant, which we don't handle, actually. So that might be why it's broken. Then we get a 10 and a 10, which are both floating point types. And then we get an 8, which is an integer. But there is no integer. Where is the 8 coming from? That's weird. At least suspicious. Yeah, wait, where would I32 be coming in here? There's m.object? I guess I don't handle object, but again, it shouldn't just be defaulting. Maybe... What if I turn off object? It might just be that I'm not handling it yet, or something. But, like... It's very strange. It's very weird. It shouldn't be just creating fake-ass types. Jigsaw place, and okay, now we got 10 and 10, so it just gives up after... I guess there is only one value in here. So that makes kind of sense. But I don't know why... Oh wait, what the fuck am I doing? Wait, why did these overlap? Okay, that explains why 8 was there, because object was 8. And so was I32. And that also explains why these didn't get populated in the switch case, because they were overlapping numbers, so it thought they were the same thing. Okay, yep, enums. Enums are very nice in C++ and don't have any weird behavior whatsoever. Okay. Case node meta type string. I'm basically gonna go, let serve out is going to be equal to, get string, object, or I think it's convert. Why explicitly assign values to enums if they're already sequential? Mainly because I need to have them be consistent across all versions of the game in the future. Like, I can't ever have them change, like, I can't have null suddenly become a different number, which is fine because null's at the beginning, but say I want to add a new integer type, let's say there's an I14 for some reason, and if these were all implicit, then it would shift them all down. But I do want to keep them in order, right? Like, I want to keep them grouped by what they are in the enum definition. So, but like, if I wanted to add an I14 here, I could just take the next biggest number and I could say that's like 14, right? Because we have 13, then 14. It also allows me to create a fairly strong distinction between the container types and the regular types. So if I ever wanted to write a function that just checks if something's a container type or not, I could literally just check if the value is greater or equal to 127. There's just a couple of reasons to do it. None of them are super big, but then they all combine together into making it kind of useful. So I'm gonna go out.resize. Oh wait, hold on. We need the start value, because if we're gonna resize the array, then we need to know how big it was. Okay, const start is out.size. Then we're gonna go out.size plus size of, or wait, strval.length. Yeah. Okay, then we're gonna go out. I guess I need to do another memcopy. I love memcopy. Out start, and then strval dot data. I'm gonna go as void pointer in here. Or wait, actually, can I just do a U8 pointer directly? Maybe. And then we're gonna go strval dot size. Okay. Oh, you know what? Actually, hold on. There's one other thing. So I don't remember how C++ strings are encoded, but I don't think that the C string... I think it's null terminated. But I don't trust null terminated strings, because you can't get the amount of data you need to copy from the beginning. Yeah, you got me there. That's exactly what I was thinking, Archie. I need to get the length of the string. We're effectively creating a Pascal string. So I'm going to go strval.length plus 4. And then we're going to first do right number. And it's going to be strval.size. What is the difference between size and length? Is it just that it supports both? Number of characters not including null termination. And size is not being found. Hold on. String size C++. Returns it in terms of bytes. They're the same. Okay. That's kind of horrible. Alright, so we're gonna encode the length, and then we're gonna copy start plus 4. Okay. I should actually explicitly cast this to a U32. Otherwise, it might return a size type, which would be 8 bytes, and then everything would melt. Ooh, okay. So that's gonna encode the string, and then let's go case node meta type object. And I'm just gonna, for now, ensure false unhandled object. Because I don't want to deal with that. Alright, let's see if this works. It's so hot in my room, I want to win so I can be like, alright, sounds good, let's do this again next week. I bet it's 28 now. It was 27.5 when I looked earlier. No build? No! Oh, just because it can't cast. Fine. As void pointer. Stop complaining. Okay, you can stop building. I know it's not gonna work. Cancel. Oh god, my other earbuds are about to die. And then I won't be able to hear anything. That would suck. Yeah, once this works, I think I'm going to end the stream here, because it's so fucking hot. It's so hot in here, you have no idea. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask now. Oh, I missed a message from Neurocly. Hello, are you using a guidebook or something like that? Or does your knowledge come from lectures that you've taken in college? I'm mostly self-taught. I am in university, and I did learn some higher level stuff from university. But most of my knowledge comes from... I read a lot of, like, the learnopengl.dev tutorials. I kind of incessantly... there's learnopengl. I also read vkguide.dev because I eventually turned this whole project into Vulkan. And then, I also just read a lot of docs, like, all the time. Like, I just read the docs of the languages that I'm using. My VS Code is making weird little rock noises at me. It's been doing this recently. It's like a setting... accessibility... features enabled, output device, sound volume, speech rate, voice, accessibility support... warning at position, chat request, chat response, clear, diff format, breakpoint, error, folded area, line, inlay hits. Oh my god, where is it? Progress. Stop! Don't do this. It's so fucking annoying. That was enabled by default a while ago, and just makes stupid pebble noises like every 2 seconds. It completely destroys my concentration. Anyways. What was I doing? Oh yeah, give jigsaw. Okay. So let's take a quick look at this. I'm just gonna run through this pretty quick because I'm almost certain it's working now. Actually, wait, no, this looks very wrong. This should be more than 16 bytes, surely. So it's 4 bytes for the orientation, then 8, 12, and then 8, 12, so then there should be... Also, the length of the array is 4, which means that we're not actually encoding the string for some reason. Oh, because it's a variant. It's a variant string, because it's an optional, and optional is just a variant with string and null, or whatever you put in here in null. And we're currently not handling variants at all. They're just not doing anything. So that all makes sense. That checks out. I don't have all of the encoders yet, and I'll probably work on writing the rest of them off a stream, but I really need to go turn on the AC, guys. I'm going to go mad if I don't get some air conditioning on, and probably go to the bathroom and eat some food, and all the other life stuff that I have to do, because it's been a 2.5-hour stream so far, which is really fun, but yeah, it's too hot in here for this right now. Why does some of the text sometimes look like Hebrew or something? I made this font, it's English, but I made this font called... Well, I based it off of Sans Forgetica, which is an existing font, but my version of it's called Sans Forgetica Worse. And basically the whole goal is to make it hard to read things on my computer that I don't want people to read. So like, you know, if I have something I'm showing, I put it onto the normal font, but otherwise I keep it in the funky font. Like if I go to my earbuds just died. Hopefully there's nothing important being played other than music. So if I take Lorem Ipsum and then let's see, can I change the font in this tool? Preferences, font, turn it off. Nope. That's not what I want. Sans Forgetica. Sometimes the font selector, like, just doesn't work. Please work. I want to choose the font. Please? I think it just, like, it loads for a very long time. And then, like, if it's not all loaded by the time I start searching, and it just doesn't work, like, it's still searching. I don't know how I have so many fucking fonts on my system, but apparently I do. Oh my god. Please let me choose the font. Fans. Or... yeah. Ah, okay. Wait, no, it was just there! What do I do to show this? Hold on, let me pop open Obsidian. I don't like opening Obsidian because I have lots of personal notes in it, but I can just open it to a new page. Okay. So, here's words. And then let's put on the font. And boom. It looks like that. It's a nice thing, especially because, like, when I do, like, stuff like writing in public, I don't really want people looking over my shoulder and reading what I'm texting or whatever. And also, when I'm streaming, it helps a lot. Like, if I accidentally leave my notifications on and someone sees a notification, people often can't figure out what it's saying, which is nice. Yeah, I can read it. I kind of, like, did it letter by letter and got used to it over time as I made it worse and worse, and I can read it now, pretty much like normal English. Yeah, but I think that's gonna be it from me, because I'm very tired. If anyone here wants to catch me for the next stream, I stream every Saturday at 12 o'clock PST. This is my shameless plug time. I also have a Discord server, which is on screen, but I'll also throw it in chat. Yeah, I know, you've definitely got a decryption key. I know that you could potentially... What the hell? Oh, okay. Oh, big ass, like, gold hit thing. I've never seen that before. Thank you for the 500th follow, Flautu. I didn't realize that was gonna happen. That's kind of neat. Why can't I type in this box? Okay. Yeah, if you guys want to join my Discord, then, I have it here. And I post stream announcements, I talk about the game development stuff that I'm working on. If you have your own game projects, you can show up and chat about them. It's kind of cool. Otherwise, hopefully I'll see you next week. Vlad Supersonic, you came in at the worst possible time. Yes, I am making a game, but I'm also disappearing right now, because it's like 28 degrees in my room and I need to turn on the AC. But yeah, I'm working on this Voxel sandbox game. It's called Zeus, and I'm building it in my own engine called Zepha. And yeah, if you do want to see more about that, I will be streaming again next Saturday. Alright, see you all around. Thank you for chatting with me. I always love doing these streams because I really like talking to people while I program. It's really fun. Yeah, and I'll hopefully see you next Saturday. Bye, y'all. I'm gonna go drink a shitload of water. See ya.